It's LaRhonda Marie. He chose me.
It's a family affair.
What's up, everybody? And welcome to Under Construction with LaRhonda Marie. I am LaRhonda Marie. How are you doing? Just go ahead and put in the comments. How has your day? How was your Valentine's Day? Go ahead and let me know you're here, where you're from. Name Banks. Hey, how are you doing? Go ahead and hit that share button because we're going to continue our topic of the month, which is relationships. And we have a great special guest today, Fila Antwine. She's going to bring her expertise. Just great information. The content that she puts out on Instagram is awesome. I've been looking at her content for about the last few weeks, and it's great. And so I'm just so excited that she had the time to come and stop and speak with us today. So guys, go ahead and hit that share button. As always, you are just as important as my special guest. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. I'll be happy to get those questions asked. All right, so I'm gonna get through some housekeeping items first, as always, and then we're gonna go on with our conversation because I am excited about it. Now, during the broadcast, you can support my page by sending stars and digital gifts that helps us earn money. We will use the stars to hire more journalists and content creators while supporting other Black-owned businesses, hoping to create an ecosystem that brings success to all involved. If you find value in the content, go ahead and send your stars today and tell a friend about our page. Just go ahead and share. Again, this is Under Construction with LaRhonda Marie, and I have a great relationship coach that's coming aboard in just a few minutes. But again, you guys know that I do collaborate Swag Her magazine, so I have to tell you about them. Definitely, they have some great products. If you are a boss woman, if you're an author, if you own your own business, if you're a life coach, if you're a relationship coach, if you need to increase your visibility, increase your brand, find ways to brand yourself, if you need some help, jog on over to swaghermagazine.com. They have some great packages depending what you're needing. If you need to increase your visibility, stop by there, find out what the packages will work for you and your brand and how you can get yourself. And they love Black women. We love Black women. We try to help empower Black women. And so it's just a great organization altogether. So yes, jog on over to them. And I'm going to just give you a few more information, get some more information about them coming up here real soon, and then I'm going to pull my guest and I'll be right back.
Swag Her Magazine is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for Black women who like to be real with themselves and in business. The magazine also offers public relations services and visibility coaching for Black women-led businesses, coaches, authors, and girl bosses so that they receive more exposure and grow their brands. To learn more about Swag Her Magazine, please visit www.swagher.net. That's www.swagher.net. Check our swag. We're more than a mag.
All right, so if you're in need of those services, please jog on over to Swagger Magazine. They will help you. They will help you get started. They will help develop a lot of things for you. Or if you already have some things going, they can help you expand on it. So yes, so now is the time. It's 7:05. I'm about to let me just see if I can get thumbs up. Are you ready to come over? I think I see her. Hello, hello, hello.
How are you? I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited about the conversation. I really am. I was
Yes.
speaking with the CEO of Swagger, and she, when we were emailing, and she's excited. She was like, "I'm ready. I'm ready for this
Oh, yeah.
conversation."
I'm ready too, girl.
Well, all month we've been, I have my guests have been coming in, on their perspectives of, relationship. You're my third relationship coach, and everybody's pretty much have the same, at the end of the day, we pretty much all have the same message. So, but you've been busy. But before we get started, I want to, is it Fila? Is that how you pronounce it?
You got it. You got it,
Okay.
girl. Ding,
I
ding,
was like,
ding.
let me, I was like, this can't be Fila. I was trying to figure it out. So
You got
Fila,
it.
go ahead and introduce yourself the way you like to do before we get started.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So, first of all, I want to just thank you for saying my name correctly because that is rare on the first time occasion. So, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm Fila Antwine. I am an award winning emotional wellness and relationship coach. I specialize in trauma resolution, femininity connection, self confidence, and healthy relationships. And I work with clients one on one. I've been contracted by organizations, agencies, schools to work with their student staff population as well. And for me, relationships are the way that we do life. So I approach relationships from that perspective, that it's not just about the intimacy, not just about getting a man, but it's about you recognizing you're in relationship to everything in your life and being able to build a healthy foundation.
That is so good. That is, I mean, because everybody that we deal with, it's some type of relationship. It's pretty much what you're saying. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to
Absolutely.
figure out we have to figure out how to deal with people.
And not even just people, but even the things in your life. You're in relationship to yourself, to your
That's
money, to your career, to all of that. So my goal is to help Black and brown women learn how to become healthy partners.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So I gave you some things that I did want to discuss, but after reading your bio and going to your website, which looks amazing, by the way. I see so
Thank
many
you.
because I do this, so I
Thank
see a
you so
lot of them.
much.
Yours was so done so well. So I appreciate the organized website,
Good to know. Good. I'm glad.
and the pictures are beautiful.
Thank you.
So
I have help. I have
you
help, girl.
That's awesome. So I did notice that it was 2011. So I want to start with your journey first, and then we can
Mhm.
move on, because I'm sure your journey will inspire in some type of way. I'm sure, and your
Yes.
journey has probably a lot to do with why you're doing what you're doing. So what happened in 2011 that made you say, okay, I'm gonna make a change?
So 2011, that year was the culmination of, my life up to that point. And I don't know why, but I do believe that there are just times in life where the universe kind of nudges you to show up bigger for yourself.
Mm.
And 2011, that was happening for me. And I started to really take a look around and realize that I wasn't doing the things that were going to bring me joy, right? It,
Right.
it really, the mirror for me was my work situation. So I was in a toxic work environment, and I started to look around at the people who were in the cubicles next to me and who were in the front offices. And I realized I don't want to be any of these people.
Mm.
I don't want to stay here for 25 years, retire, and then do what I love.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wanted to feel good in that moment and in that space. And I'm a woman who is all about the emotional experience.
Mhm.
So if it doesn't feed my soul, it doesn't feel good to me in that way, I've always had to question it. And in 2011, I was just like, I cannot take it anymore. Like, I hate this place. I can't stand this boss, all of these things. I know now that it wasn't the place, it wasn't the people, it wasn't the boss. It was about me not being satisfied. And that just was a mirror to, excuse me, to show me this is what's going on internally. There's
Mhm.
internal conflict. So now it's showing up in the workplace
Right.
because my relationship was strong. My home life was strong, but that was the place that I needed to have the turmoil in order to push me somewhere else. And I said to myself, this is not the life that I dreamed of having as
Mm.
a child. So, how do I start creating my dream life from now? And that was the catalyst for creating some big change.
How long were you in that transition phase of, am I gonna quit this job and do what I know I want to do in my, how long were you there?
I was like, seriously, because you get there and you're like, oh boy, I
Mhm.
don't want to be here, right? But
Right.
it was, I'm gonna say it was a year because and let me tell you, girl, I'm all about transparency. So I'm gonna tell you the truth, right?
That's right.
I would walk into the people's job
Good.
at 10:45. I had to be there at 9 o'clock. I'm walking into the people's job at 10:45 saying good morning to everybody with a cup of tea. So y'all done stopped at the store and everything. That's when I knew this is a problem because I just had to
Don't
go through
care.
so much emotionally to
Uh-huh.
prepare. And then I was like, I don't even care. I
Right.
don't even care. I'm gonna get my tea first and then I'm gonna
Right.
get in there. Now,
Right.
once I'm in the space, I was excellent at my job,
Right.
but it was just who you think you
Getting
are
there.
walking in here an hour and 45 minutes late talking about good
Right.
morning.
I don't know. It was either my pastor or my pastor's wife that just said something about slow quitting or something like that.
Mm,
You on a slow quit, and
yes.
they explained it. That's how they explained it. Like, okay, you coming in late, you coming
Yes.
in, you know your job, so you're gonna do that well. But it's
Hmm.
just the attitude, our attitude. Your attitude was totally
Exactly. It is
out
an
of out of
attitude.
out of
Just
so that
like,
made everything. So people got on your nerves, and so about a year it took you, and then you
hmm
transitioned into what, hey, what we got right here in front of us.
well, not quite. I
Not quite.
transitioned into a transition,
Okay,
right?
keep
So
going.
let me tell there was a time where I decided, okay, this is not the place for me anymore. I don't want to be here. And so I wrote down my exit date. I was going to give myself a full year. That's when I knew for sure I'm out of here emotionally and mentally. And so I wrote it on a notebook. The date, it was about a year in the future. And then we fast forward to about a year later. I started having some conflict with my director, completely forgetting about the date that I had written down a year earlier.
Mm,
And it just so happened, and nothing just happens, it's all
right.
divinely designed. I turned in my letter of resignation exactly a year to the date
Wow.
without even realizing it.
Realizing.
So that, speaks to the power of the written word, and the
Yeah.
power of the spoken word in that. But I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I can't be here anymore. And so it
Right.
still took me some time to figure out what my love and my fulfillment and my purpose was connected to in a career fashion.
How did you get there? How did you figure out that part?
Lots of prayer, lots of self reflection, lots of meditation, and a rest period, which I think a lot of
That's
people
good.
don't give themselves the opportunity to rest after you've been through something that is emotionally traumatic. Your body, your mind, your spirit needs to rest in order to come back into balance and harmony. And so, girl, I quit the job, had no plan. My health insurance was going to expire in 90 days. I didn't know what was going on. And I said to my husband, I think I'm ready for baby number two. And he was looking
Oh
at
my
me
God.
like, what?
I ain't got nothing else to do. Let's have a baby.
Right? Let's go ahead and make that baby you want. You want another one, right? Well, now's the time. And
You was
that's what
really
we
trying to
did.
rest. You was really trying to rest.
That's what we did. And so I took about a full year, let's say, off, just trying to figure things out. I had started writing a book previously. So I worked on that book. I got in touch with my femininity and my mothering self and my nurturing self. And I took some time to really clear out a lot of my own emotional clutter.
Mhm.
Because I came from a really dysfunctional background and I'm a sexual abuse survivor. And so there was still some things that needed to be cleared out. And I spent time doing that.
That's um that's awesome. Because a lot of times we do jump. Personally, for me, because I was a single mom, so you think about finances, and so you are quick to just find something. Let me just find something. And so I remember when I was in that place of a toxic environment, but
Mhm.
I still was able to rest because I made sure I chose a place that I wouldn't have to do a lot of thinking, a lot of pressure, a lot of. So that's what I would suggest. If those that have to, you have to get something that's not going to put a lot of pressure on you. And I was able to get through that because it's an emotional thing. Not only if you've been in
Mhm.
any type of toxic environment, wouldn't you agree that you need time, whether it be work, whether it be home, whether it be school, at church, wherever that toxic environment, once you're out of it, you need that time, that break to just breathe
Yes.
and regather yourself and figure out why I let myself be in that for so long and, answer those questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I guess that's what you're talking about when it comes to just different relationships. It's relationship month, so we're not just talking about husband and wife or couples. We're talking about relationships with your coworkers, relationships with your family members. Relationships are everywhere.
Yes.
Um, let me see. Let me pull something up real quick.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about your social. She's guys. I found her on social media. I have her information down there. Her content is great. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
show a couple of her videos that I love your videos because they just
What?
girl, you get right to it. Like just be sweet. Let me tell you why.
What we waiting for?
Let me
Right? Let's get to it.
let's not sugarcoat. So this first one, let me see. I hope I picked the right one because I forgot what you had on. So we gonna see.
Stop going out to dinner with these men. Dinner is one of the most boring dates that you can go on, and it is the perfect place where a man can sit down in front of you, right across from you, and lie to your face. He can tell you all the things that you want to hear about what kind of man he is and what kind of partner he would be to you right at the dinner table. Instead, you want to go on dates where there are stressors involved. You want to do things like group activities. You want to go bowling. You want to see how he gets when he's competitive. You want to see if he's able to lose well or if he's a sore loser. You want to go hiking. You want to do, paintball. You want to do things that put him in a position where he cannot fake the funk. He cannot show up as his representative. And at some point, you get to see the cracks in him, who the real him potentially is, and the humanity in him. So you want to see if he's able to handle certain levels of stress, if he is still.
Okay, y'all gonna have to go to her Instagram and get the rest of that. But she
Yes.
going in. So I was trying to figure out when I saw it at first, when I saw the, the title, I was like, how's she about to fix this? How's she about to fix this? But you're so right. Like
Mhm.
it is boring and it's hard and it's like, what do we talk about? I don't really know you. You don't, and I don't want to ask certain things. But
Right.
yes, when you bring in bowling or top golf or you know I thought that was awesome. Go ahead and expand on your thoughts on that. As far
Yes.
as why you think that we should just 86 the meal and let's get to the video games. Let's get to top golf.
Hmm. So first of all, I have the same sweater on, so that's like a good sign. We're supposed to start with that one. But and it's funny because some of the fellas were kind of like, I don't like this, even before they really listened to it, because my motto is during the dating process, stress him out, sis. Right?
Yeah.
Stress him out. And I don't mean it in the literal sense,
Right.
but what I mean is put yourself in places and spaces that have some level of stressors present, a level of competition, a level of fun, a level of, comprehension where you have to figure things out. Dinner dates are cool, but I usually say save the dinner date until like the third date. That first date can be something casual. Let's just meet and see if there's a connection or chemistry.
Right.
And then when we want to go out, let's do something fun. Let's do something where we're connecting and we're not feeling the pressure of having to be our representatives and having to tell lies. And for a lot of women, dinner dates connect with their romanticized idea of relationships. It's dark, it's intimate, it's sexy, you're getting really dressed up, right?
Right.
So you're already leaning into a fantasy because none of that is real. That's not who you really are.
Right. Neither
And
one of y'all.
Neither one of y'all, exactly. And so in those spaces, there's a lot of pretentiousness. And so I say, instead of doing dinner, instead of doing all the pretentious things, be more casual, actually get to know one another, see how he responds to some stress, to competition, because there are some people who don't know how to manage their emotions, and you'll see immediately, oh, he has an anger problem, right? Oh, he gets really anxious about things. Oh, he's not so nice when he doesn't feel comfortable or confident. And you're actually getting information to use instead of just sitting across from each other, staring at each other.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And you too. And the girl too, the female too. Because I'm competitive. So he gonna see a totally different LaRhonda than you would
Yes.
just in my dress. So it's a different LaRhonda because I'm gonna want to win. And you gotta be man enough to take it, And so Faith, hey girl, well, she goes, well, dang, I guess my husband needs to step his game up. But I like to eat though, girl. He already your husband, so you ain't even
right.
You already know him. We talking about dating, so you good. Keep going out to eat. Let him take you out. And then we got Michelle. Hey, girl, what about a movie? That's a safe first date.
I would say no, right?
I would say no too.
I would say no because you're in close proximity. You're not really connecting with each other. It's an easy way, right? You're disconnected from one another. And, a movie theater is dark and that kind of thing. You don't even want to give the impression that it's okay to have any level of intimacy just yet. So you want to maintain some boundaries and some space in those first couple dates.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I made that mistake, Michelle, once, but it worked out well for me because he talked too much during the movie. So I was like, yeah, I'm good.
We're at a movie. He can't even shut up for 2 hours.
Be quiet. Yeah. So that was, so in that instant, it was cool, but I wouldn't suggest it because again, you're not really talking to the person at all because you're trying to be entertained, hopefully by the movie.
Right. And this also, I think is important for me to say that this is about dating for a relationship.
Right.
Right. If your goal is to have a relationship, you want to learn about that person as quickly as possible so you can decide, do we move forward into a second date? Am I even interested? Is there any chemistry?
Absolutely. You spoke about the number one thing that turns men off and has them running in other direction. Share that with the people.
Yes. So I got so much feedback on this, right? The main thing that I've seen that turns good men off, viable men, the kind of men who would be willing to be in a relationship and commit to you, is self-deprecation. No confident man who's looking for a partner or who's looking for a wife wants a woman who constantly puts herself down, who consistently talks about her flaws, who has no self-confidence and picks herself apart. It's exhausting, first of all, to be in a conversation with someone like that. And what it shows a man is that he's going to have to be your emotional support animal throughout the relationship because you have all these insecurities and all of these things. And on the other hand, it actually attracts men who are predatory, men who are narcissistic, men who are abusive because they want to manipulate your weaknesses and they want to be able to use those things against you. So it repels the men who would be viable partners because that's just too much pressure to put on someone else. No, I'm not good enough. No, I don't like it. No, I'm uncomfortable. I hate my hair. I hate my this. I hate my that. It's like, sis, we just meeting and I got to be your dad already. Like, this is too much.
Right, right. That's so good. And that's the same with friendships, like just regular relationships. Just think of that friend that always is, they ain't never have a good day. They don't ever have a good day. It's something always
Mm-hmm.
you're having to always pour into that person. That's draining.
Absolutely.
When you're just constantly having to reassure people. And so that goes with regular friendships, just a regular platonic friendship, as well as someone that you are in a relationship, well, a romantic relationship or family
Yes.
member. It's just everything. It's draining.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't ever have a good day. Your hair don't ever look right. Your face don't look right. Your life ain't right. It's just
Like, it's a mess. You're a mess, and I'm good.
and I'm good. Yes. And if you have never met a friend like that, you may be that friend. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to tell you, you might be that one, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can women handle the honesty that they require from men in relationships? Ooh.
You know what? I think that's an excellent question. However, I don't believe that women require honesty the way they would like to think they do from men in relationships.
Tell the people.
Right? So we think we can handle the truth and all that. And, I want him to be honest with me. But from the very beginning, women minimize themselves, shrink themselves, try to become the version of themselves they think he's going to like. So most women don't even show up in honesty. And so they're not even positioning themselves to require honesty from that man. They're listening, they're hearing him, but they're not listening in most of the times, in most of the cases, right? And so they're not even seeing him in the way that he's presenting themselves. They're seeing him in the way that they're fantasizing about the man that they want. So that's the first thing. Most women are not even making honesty a requirement. They only want you to tell them what they want to hear. And even when, your intuition will say, sis, that don't sound right, you'll go along with it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no honesty required. And one of the things when I'm working with clients, we create a list of relationship requirements so that you hold yourself accountable to those things like honesty and trust, if that's it. So I think on the foundational level, women are not requiring honesty from men. They're letting them slip. They're letting the little white lies show up, little white lies, little black lies, little Asian lies, little Hispanic lies, whatever it is. Right. And not holding those men accountable into the fire for that. When it
Ladies,
comes,
that's in the conversation, guys. Let me know. Let us know. Do you require honesty? Can you do you personally think you can handle honesty? If you do, go ahead and say something, comment about that. And name one of your requirements that that's just a non-negotiable requirement. Go ahead and put that in the comments and let us know about that. But you're so right. When you think about it, we tend to fall in love with the potential.
yes,
As opposed to the person that's standing right in front of us. And when they don't match up, align with it, then we feel so wronged. And so, when he's like, I didn't even know that's what I was, I was supposed to be. And it happens both ways. Ladies, I'm not just getting on us, it happens. This is just relationships, we're a bunch of individuals walking around here trying to figure it out. Let's see, Michelle says, I can handle the truth so much better than a lie because I have a gift of discernment. I pay attention to the body language.
And body language generally doesn't lie. But if we're talking about on a general basis, the community of women, most women are not requiring honesty because they're afraid that if he is honest, he will negate himself and then you got to start all over, or then you feel like you're going to be lonely or by yourself, right? Yeah. I'd much rather the truth. Like I said earlier, I'm all about the feeling. So I want to feel the truth. Don't tell me a lie. But I also know that that is not the norm. And LaRhonda, I have worked with hundreds of women. Most women don't want the truth if the truth is going to blow their fantasy houses down. They would rather operate in a way where I see what I want, I hear what I want. And I think that men know that because so many men also say to me, I'll just tell her what she wants to hear because the truth leads to so many other conversations that men just don't want to have that kind of confrontation with us. Right? We'll often ask men, tell me the truth. Tell me, do you want a relationship or not? Are we going to commit? Yada, yada, yada. And when he's honest, then we get irate. Well, why didn't you tell me that before? Well, why didn't you ask? Why weren't you clear?
And sometimes they're clear. Sometimes they're clear at the very beginning and say, hey, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not this, but we 6 months into this situationship or whatever you want to call it. And so now I want to take a survey. Let's go like it's, the annual review. Let's go over a review. What are we doing? What are we doing for the next year? And then you are surprised. I am a person that has happened to. So I totally get it. And I personally, I do want I want, if you're talking to me, to be honest. But as far as the things that are going on in my head and the things that I really want to ask you, I don't ask because I really don't want to know the truth. Because I know it, but I don't really want it confirmed just yet. And so a lot of times we in that space where it's not like we don't know what's going on. It's just like, you know what, I'm cool with what's going I'm cool with where we are right now. So and you become acceptive of a whole lot.
Absolutely. And we think, well, I can make him like me, right? Yeah. I'll be what he needs me to be and he'll change his mind.
And that's what I like about your services. You put it back on self-care. It's really, and that's in any relationship. Really what you're doing is making sure you know who you are. That way you know what you want, you know what you don't want. Can you just take me, how do you get your clients to figure that, get there to where I'm gonna stop? Let's see. I'm trying to see how I can ask this. How that just to change, just to renew their mind to thinking I want to think this is about me and not about the person I'm in a relationship with. How do you get them to change that?
So first and foremost, like I was saying earlier, it really is about recognizing that you're in relationship with everything in your life, not just other people, right? And so we go through this process of reflecting on your relationship with yourself. And so I'll ask my clients, well, what kind of partner are you to yourself? What are some of the things that you say to yourself? What are the things that you do to yourself? And are you giving yourself the level of commitment that you are expecting others to give to you? And if you can't answer yes to that, then it's a problem, because you can't ask somebody else to give you something that you are not requiring of yourself with yourself. Most women will say, I want commitment, but can't even keep a promise not to call him for 24 hours. Can't even keep a promise not to jump back in bed with him the next time something happens. Can't even keep a promise not to eat the cookie if you said you're not eating any more cookies, right? So it's about keeping those commitments to yourself and recognizing that how you partner with yourself is the foundation of how you're going to partner with others. So whatever you want in a relationship, are you embodying that in your relationship with yourself first? And most women will say no, and that kind of holds them accountable. And then we kind of start digging and talking more about what you want in a relationship emotionally.
I want to say, Faith said, I can handle honesty, but it seems like people think honesty has to be cruel. Well, that's a good point. It's the way to put things. I can definitely say that. We can be tactful.
We can be, but that's not the other person. The other person is not responsible for how you're going to feel. If you ask for the truth and they deliver the truth, that's it, right? Their only responsibility to you is to deliver the truth to you. And often it feels harsh simply because it's not what you want to hear.
Rodney, hey, how you doing? Trust and honesty is what I ask for in a relationship, but be upfront with me like I am with her.
Trust, gets to be built. Right. And I think most people in general, women, men who don't trust others, it's because they have no trust within themselves.
That's
They've
good.
broken their own trust. They've made poor choices. They've made decisions that put them in a situation. And so, really, you don't trust yourself to make the right decisions. So, you often feel like you can't trust people. So, it's really about building that level of trust with yourself and your own relationship with yourself. And you'll attract people in who are trustworthy as well.
Right.
Everything starts with self, every single thing.
That's it. All right, let's see what she got. What she got going next. Here you go, y'all.
Where we going?
Yourself. What happened to you? To that little girl version of you who was strong and who was outgoing and who was rambunctious and who had all these big dreams and belief in herself to accomplish those dreams. Somebody taught you how to shrink along the way. Someone told you that you needed to be quiet because you were too loud. Someone told you that you needed to dumb it down because you were too smart. Someone told you that you needed to be small because you were too big and you were taking up too much space. And you believed them then, and you still believe them now. Who taught you how to shrink? That's the question that you get to ask and answer for.
Again, go to her. She be preaching, y'all. Okay, she be on it. Go ahead and just expand. I love that. What happened, ladies? Gentlemen, those that are in here, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Go ahead and put comments. I don't want all your business. You don't have to tell all your business, but you can tell us a little something. What could have happened to make you believe? I say believe the enemies, and because he's just using people around us to just convince us of something else. Can you expand on that? I love that. That was awesome. And
Absolutely.
also those glasses was really nice. I wanted to let you know that those glasses.
Amazon girl, go ahead and get you a pair.
Okay.
Go ahead and get you a pair. I want us all to be cute. So, it's so powerful to see a child, a young person who's, self-confident and self-assured. And those are usually the children that the adults are most uncomfortable with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in our community, especially, she's so
Right.
fresh, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's too confident, or she's too much, or she's too
Yes.
loud, all of these things. And unfortunately, the world is not always a kind place to people.
Mm-hmm.
And so adults are often taught that they have to shrink in order to be accepted. And then they pass that message on to children. And I really think that most people start losing themselves from the moment that they enter the world, right? You come in knowing who you are, with this awareness and this connection to, to God and source and divinity and all those things. But life sometimes teaches you, conditions you to believe that who you are innately is not enough. And that's even before any type of actual trauma occurs.
Right.
So then if you are abused or abandoned or neglected or mistreated in any way, that conditions the joy out of you and the you out of you as well. And so we learn at really early ages how we need to operate around our parents in order to not upset them or make them mad. School teaches us to be quiet all the time. You got to raise your hand if you have a question. You can't just get up and go to the bathroom.
Right.
Because of the world that we live in, as people of color, as Black people, especially with the racism and the oppression and the colorism and all the infighting that has occurred with us from our historical perspective and positions, there is so many messages telling you that who you are doesn't fit. And so folks begin to lose that connection with themselves. And then you go through life because it works for you. And that's what often leads to have emotional breakdowns and mental health issues and relationship breakdowns, because you get to 30, 40, 50 and you're like, who am I? How did I get here?
Right.
All these choices that I made, and none of them are really satisfying me or making me happy. And so I always tell folks to think about you at the youngest memory you have before someone taught you that who you were was not good enough, and reconnect to that version of yourself.
I have a question. How are you navigating conversations as a relationship coach with intimate partner abuse survivors without victim blaming them?
So, any intimate, sexual, physical abuse that occurs In any environment, the predator, the abuser, is responsible for their behavior, right? So I never impose that onto clients or in any of those conversations. What I do say is that that experience is teaching you something, right? It is connecting to something in your overall life experience. There was a level of familiarity in that person or in that partnership that made you believe it was the right place to be, or made you believe it was a safe space to enter into because it felt familiar. So let's go backwards now and see how those intimate traumatic experiences connect with other intimate traumatic experiences in your life from a place of new awareness. Because what often is happening is that people are making choices from an unconscious place. You don't know that you're attracting and drawing in toxicity and abuse because you're not aware of yourself. Why? Because you lost yourself at some point, because you've been operating in life disconnected from yourself. That's why sacred self care is about reconnecting to yourself so you can become aware.
Right.
Once you become aware, now it's about choosing the role you're going to play moving forward.
And self-care, it's not, I'm
It
trying to
ain't
figure out.
pretty.
It ain't
It ain't
pretty. Yes,
nice. It
it's
don't feel
not
good
always
all the
easy.
time.
It's not just a bubble bath. It's not just taking yourself to the salon. It's not just that. Self-care is really digging in
Mm-hmm.
on your issue. If you were abused, then you have to dig in and remember those things. I am a survivor of that myself. And so you have to go back to that point and work through those emotions, because they're real and they're valid. And again, just like she said, that abuser, that person, that's on them. That had nothing to do with who you are. And
Right.
your job is to try to get back to who you were before that happened. And not dwell and not sit, because a lot of times we can sit in that shame, we can sit in it. But if it, and you sit in it by not addressing it, by not dealing with it. But you have to, wouldn't you agree? You have to deal with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to deal with it if you want to heal from it.
That's right. And
Yeah.
hopefully you pick the right partner that can go in and be there with you. I tell my God, you have to love me through it. I mean, you just have to love me through it. I don't have an excuse. I made a mistake. I'm human, but you have to love me through it. And so,
Absolutely.
and that's real. That's for a man or a woman. We have to learn how to love our partners through some stuff, because we've had some dysfunctions in our life,
We
that
definitely do.
in the Black
Definitely do.
community we don't address until we're triggered, and we don't even know why we're being triggered sometimes. So yeah, you have to deal with it.
I also think that, as the person who's healing from something, you also have to give your partner a choice, right? This is where honesty comes in. This is my experience. This is what I've been through. So being with me is not going to be easy.
Right.
And I'm letting you know that. And so you have to be willing to let people go if they are not equipped to handle you and handle everything that comes with you. That's why these early conversations in dating and relationships are important, so people can make an educated and empowered choice.
Right.
Maybe this is too much for you, and that's okay.
Right.
So this way, we're not a year in, 2 years in, and somebody's like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be all of this. You know what I mean? And it's harder. It's easier to walk away in the beginning than it is in the middle. But I do believe that you should always allow folks to decide if they are staying because they want to, instead of trying to make them stay out of obligation.
That's good. That's what I mean about being upfront. Okay, that's Rodney. He's saying that's what he's saying, fully disclosed. But what we're saying is that
it's a process, though.
It's a process. That's not a first date. That's not a first date conversation. That might not even be the second date. That may be 2 or 3 months in, where I'm trying to build up. That's just not something I'm gonna disclose. And so, but I do understand that you want as much honesty as we can give at that time. But yeah, those things like that, you have to. It's a trust level.
Definitely.
And I have a couple of more questions. Oh my God, time is just going. I had a couple of more, but I have just time for one more.
Okay.
I'm trying to choose which one I want. You're trying to get okay. I'm gonna do this. What does you who you attract say about you?
It says everything about you. And this, people don't like this one, girl. They don't like this, especially if you have been in a tumultuous relationship or you have a pattern of attracting emotional manipulators or abusive partners or narcissistic folks. Your partner is a mirror. Every relationship you're in is showing you something that is internally present with you. And so who you attract speaks to your internal self, not the cute up you that shows up for everybody, not the you that wears all the different masks, but the you who you don't look at every single day. You are attracting partners based on your emotional frequency and your emotional signature. And that precedes you when you walk into a space. So a lot of times women will say, I want this kind of man, that kind of man, that kind of man, and never attract those kind of men because emotionally and energetically, you're calling in people who are connected to your trauma. So it indicates whether or not you are operating from a healthy emotional space or whether or not you have some unresolved trauma that you need to take a look at.
Girl, oh my God, I could go on with you. Because I was going. Okay, I gotta ask this. Side Chick Day is February 13th.
Yes.
You said Valentine's Day, I guess, is for the couples.
Uh-huh.
And single day, I found out, was the 15th. Okay, so the side chicks. Why you feel the 13th is the side chick day? I have to say that.
They got to get it out the way. All the cheating husbands and stuff they gotta make sure that their side chick is happy because she is a part of the rotation. And they get you in there, buy your little, either the same version as they're giving their significant other or smaller version to make sure that you keep quiet and that he can still, sneak off and do what he needs to do. And he'll be back around on like February 17th or 18th.
And of course,
it's real life.
Valentine's Day is for the actual couple. So the one that he chose to give his name to, and everything else is for y'all be doing the men wrong.
Listen, baby.
Okay.
Now listen, it's some side boyfriends and side husbands out here too. Okay.
Oh, it's side.
It's side guys too.
Side guys. I don't ever hear that terminology. We say so it's side dudes or side. I don't know what we call that. And then single day. When did single day become February 15th? And why is that single appreciation day?
So I think that it came about post-pandemic. Because there was a need for people to be emotionally supported, right? We came out of that whole traumatic experience and being disconnected from people. And so I think within the last couple years, Singles Appreciation Day has been created. And I think it's great because so many people are triggered emotionally by all of the Valentine stuff and seeing all the pictures on your timeline and feeling like you're the only one who doesn't have someone. When first of all, that's absolutely not true. Secondly, most folks are not what they post to be. So the things that they're posting don't necessarily reflect their actual life. Right. But it's a day to just honor yourself and be with yourself. I think to include single people in that whole experience of chocolates and candies and all that. And I think it's great because on Singles Day, all the candy is half off. So you can go down and get you some chocolate for 50% off.
We've been talking about that. It's been Relationship Month at my church too. And my pastor's been talking about that. We all are still single. We still are a single person. So really, y'all got a couple. Y'all got like 3 days in a row.
Exactly.
Couple y'all got 3 days. Couple got 2. And if not, you just pick one. But girl, let me tell you, Fila, you have been awesome.
So have you. I've loved it. It went by so fast.
Talking to my homegirl, so it was. I appreciate you taking the time to come to Under Construction with LaRhonda Marie. I'm going to send little
clips and snippets
of the show tomorrow. If you could just repost, I'd appreciate it. But you
absolutely
are awesome, and your hair is pretty. I've been wanting to tell you that.
Thank you,
girl. I'm loving it. I am loving it. So you just look good. So thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna stay on for just a couple of minutes, but thank you so much. I want to say, do you have anything? Because it was something that I wanted to bring up. She has the book. I put that information. You have Sacred Queendom, a 12-month course.
Yes.
On-demand course that you have. Guys, check that out. She has information on Instagram about it.
Instagram and TikTok at She Is Fila, and all the information is there. And my DMs are always open if you got questions.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you,
have a good rest of the night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been such a great audience today. If you have some questions, let me know. I can get them over to her. I'm sure she doesn't mind. Or go, like I said, I have all her information down there. You can go purchase her book on Amazon. I didn't even know about it until today. But I'm gonna go reach out on that. I don't even know the price yet. I just know you can go on Amazon and get that. And just check out her Instagram. Her content is awesome. I showed a couple of her videos. She has videos. Looks like she puts up daily. So go ahead and hit that follow button. And of course, follow LaRhonda Marie if you're not already. Swag Her Magazine also if you're not already. And you guys, I have one more relationship coach coming next week. And hopefully we're going to get on the subject of sex. We have not talked about sex all month. So we might get there. We will see. Everybody, she wants to say thank you guys so much again for joining in. And you guys, y'all have a good evening. Bye.